welcome to First Garden, New Gardener. I'm Joy Baird.
And I'm Holly Baird, and today we're talking about watering.
Watering outside as well as watering inside on the seeds that you have started that you're going to transplant out into your garden or your garden plot or containers.
It's very important to water correctly, and it's very important to water enough, but not water too much.
So we're going to talk about some of the different devices that you may have in your house so you don't have to go to your home and garden center and purchase watering cans that you would water your containers with. Let's just start off, and then we're going to talk about some of the ways that and some of the terms that you would want to understand when watering in your containers. One of the things you can use is a kitty litter container. Now this is a plastic one. We've drilled multiple holes in the top of it, and this works great for dispersing the water, especially in containers or outside in the garden. This will also work well inside if you're watering and you want to water some large areas. Now also, you can just use a regular watering can. This happens to be a metal watering can. The nice thing about this particular watering can is the spout will detach from the unit, so if you do have particles that clog it up, you can clean it out, and also you can direct water or force water heavier if you take the spout off. So that's another way to go about.
You can also use something like this milk jug here. This is good for if you have younger children as well, so that if they drop it or gets stepped on or something, it's not gonna be so sad. You just drill holes in the top, much like the kitty litter jug, and that way, if it does get clogged up, you can take the lid off easy and screw. So you want to use a milk jug that has a screw on or screw off lid. That way, if you squeeze it too tight, it doesn't go popping off.
Now another device you can use is a pump sprayer. Now you can purchase this at your local home and garden center or online. This happens to be a Hudson sprayer. It works very well. You can mist or you can direct spray. Works really good for getting back inside your grow room if you want to go that route. And it will last you many, many years if you want to put that type of investment into a watering device for your indoor garden.
Yep. You can also use just a regular spray bottle. This we reused. It was something else. And then you could even go to like the dollar store perhaps or a big box store and buy like those industrial sprayers as well.
And that's good for very delicate seeds. Now, most of us, or some of us, know people who have watering cans or have been given a watering can.
And it has no end. It just has this regular end on it, which is great if you're watering little house plants. But if you want some sort of water disbursement, you could take something like a pill bottle, you drill some holes in it, and then you just put it onto the end, and it goes on there nice and tight, and then you can water with it.
Yeah, you'll have to look through and find a pill bottle that will work. Now, I will recommend not going to the home and garden center and trying to purchase a shower head for a watering can like that, because if it's an older model, and we've ran through this, the older model and the new model, they don't correspond with one another, so it's not going to fit.
Right.
So those are just some of the many different devices that you can use to water your plants. Now let's talk about the actual act of watering.
Right. So when you're inside and you have plants in pots, you want to think about drainage or as opposed to no drainage. So if you have drainage, you can keep watering, keep watering, keep watering. Or you could just water enough, and if some runs out the bottom, runs out the bottom.
And it's an indication to you that the plant has soaked up, or the soil soaked up as much water as it needs to.
And if you're like us and you start your seeds in cups like these, then you're not going to have any drainage, and I don't think it's really worth it necessarily to go and poke holes in all of your cups. So what you want to do is you just want to be mindful of how much water you're adding.
Now, if you do use the containers, you can use a coaster for underneath your pots or containers, whether you have them inside, outside.
Yeah, right. And you can be creative. This is just the lid of a coffee can. So you could use something like that, or if you buy anything that has a larger lid, you can use that, of course, granted that the pot fits on there.
Now let's talk about what our term of the week will be, which each week we have a term that when we use, most gardeners need to know, or all gardeners need to know, and that word is going to be bottom watering.
Bottom watering.
Now, bottom watering may be a term that you've not heard before. These are some of our leeks and onions that we've got started here. Now, the proper way to bottom water, well, let's talk about what bottom watering is, first of all.
Basically, you're going to take a container that has drainage holes in the bottom, and you're going to take another container that has no holes and is flat, and you're going to put the water in the bottom and allow the plants to soak the water up from the bottom.
Now, recommendations would be in a normal seed starting tray like this, add about a quart of water. Wait 30 minutes, and if all the water has dissipated or soaked up into the soil, add another quart of water, and then wait another 30 minutes, and what water remains, go ahead and drain that off, because you don't want stagnant water to be setting in these containers, because it can begin to develop root rot, and that will kill your plants off. So you want to water just enough to allow the soil to be moist, and then remove the rest of the water, because we faced that issue that we decided, hey, we won't water for 2 weeks, so let's load this thing up, and the plants begin to basically drown because the water is hampering oxygen from getting in the soil.
Exactly. So that is bottom watering.
Bottom watering. So you can bottom water, and there's a couple reasons why you would choose to bottom water versus top watering, as most of us have grown up with.
One, if you have teeny tiny little seeds that are in there, and you allow it to, if you overwater it, or maybe you have plants that are just beginning, you don't want to overwater them, you don't want to harm the plants. You know, you got too much water flushing through. Bottom watering gives it an advantage there because it gently adds the water to those plants or those tiny seeds.
The other advantage and benefit to this, let's say we're starting tomatoes. 90% of the diseases that your tomato will experience is from when soil splashes up on the leaves. So obviously outside in the garden you have no control over that. You can mulch, but there's still going to be particles splash up. But indoors we can control this. So by bottom watering, you will allow the plant to have the most benefit to absorb the water and the least amount of chance of absorbing any diseases, because we're trying to have a very nice sterile environment, and if we can prevent diseases in the house, that's what we need to do, so we have healthier plants when we put them out in the garden.
Exactly.
So that pretty much wraps up on the different items you can water with, and some of the terms and techniques on how to water your seedlings indoors.
Right.
I'm Joy Baird.
And I'm Holly Baird, and this has been First Garden, New Gardener. For more information, please visit thewIsconsinVegetableGardener.com.